B's here. It's dog toys, it's all good. Welcome to the crew. All right, Jeremy brought her down. About to unload her into her spot. There's something about old, kind of chunky, knobby, spare, used tires on the Mopar that just, it's kind of cool. Pick this guy up. It's got a leak. That'll do for a minute. Rear, some kind of hack job on those frame rails, and yeah, it's gonna need a bit of metal, but we can do it. Oh, I just love those B-body style lines and just the look of these cars. This thing is super sick, even ratty just the way it is. Who knows? Maybe this will be my first ratty car and that I don't redo. I don't know yet. Let's see here. She's arrived. Hell yeah. We gotta get Big Bob ready over there. So Big Bob can do this. But for now, Jeremy hooked it up. We appreciate that. It's a lot easier than pulling it home on a trailer right now. All right, well, thanks to Jeremy for dropping her off. Make sure you guys go check him out on Shade Tree Auto. I'll put a link below so you can check out his page too. Jeremy does some cool stuff. He's making some pretty wild trips around the country grabbing cars too. So fellow Moparians supporting fellow Moparians. See you later, Jeremy. Just when you guys think I can't be crazy enough, I'm crazier again. It is the summer of '69 officially here at the Finelli Palace of Mopar madness. You got the '69 Roadrunner in there, the '69B, the '69 GTX. When they're all done, maybe I'll sell them all off together. Maybe I'll keep them all. Stay tuned and find out. But for now, at least, this thing's been delivered. Let's do a little bit of inventory of let's show you guys a little bit about what's going on with this car. So we'll pull off this sweet hood latch that Jeremy kindly delivered it with. And, it's kind of hanging out on there too. Like I said, this car has got quite a bit of metal work it's going to need. It's absolutely worth saving. This car is still an actual 1969 Dodge Super B, 4-speed car. Again, not the original engine with it, not the original transmission. It's got an 8 3/4 rear still back out there, but it's absolutely savable. Most people might look at this thing and say it's too much work. It's going to be a bit of metal work, absolutely, but I'm not afraid of it. It's just cutting metal, welding. It's doable. It's totally doable. And you know, when you look at time is money, yeah, the GTX is going to take me no time relative to this thing as far as metal work goes, but you know what, at the same time, buy something like this at a lower price, spend your time making it something nicer. And really what it all comes down to me is it's really about the pride. Like, I love taking a car like this that looks like it's on its last leg, that it might see the junkyard, and bringing it back to life. And whether that means actually making it perfect, shiny, brand new, or just making it structurally strong, sound, and mechanically solid, because a car like this could look cool as hell just driving around the way it is, ratty. We can replace all the frame rails, suspension, engine, transmission, driveline, make this thing structurally sound, drive like a freaking kick-ass car, but still look kind of beat up and everything. So there's a whole bunch of ways that you can go about doing this stuff. So let's pop this hood up. The hood does not have any hinges, so it is literally just fulcruming up here on the back side of the body. And There is a I think it's a 72 or 73 year 440 block in here, which is not for the car obviously, but I just got it with it so we can machine it. Luckily we know a guy, for those of you that follow the channel, Grandpa Roger is our machining magician in the family, so we can get a new engine built for this thing, lickety split. And let's show you a little bit more. So that's the engine block I'm talking about. No idea, and neither did Jeremy know for sure if this thing is any good, but for a couple $100, you know what? You can't go wrong trying to see if that 440 isn't savable. So this thing will get pulled out. We'll get it stripped down at the machine shop and see if those cylinder walls aren't total trash. We might have to re-sleeve it, but we'll figure all that out. As far as these inner fender walls go, you can see the Frankenstein job someone did repairing these back in who knows when. So that stuff's all gonna need to get fixed. The actual back firewall itself looks fine, and it appears to me that there is some original blue color still showing through underneath where the wiper motor goes. I'm not sure if that's a B5 blue or exactly the color code it would have been. We can go check our chart inside, but blue Mopars are freaking cool. This hood, I presume, is not original to it because it's a green one, and this car is kind of hodgepodged with bits and pieces all around. It's overall not in bad shape. It's a bit of a dent up here, which we can pull out. The top side of it is actually in really good shape. There's a little bit of surface rust underneath here on the bottom. That corner looks a bit boogered up with some Bondo, so it'll need a little bit of structural help underneath. But the actual top skin is good. Walk around here a little bit more. There's a cool rust hole through the side of this fender. There's our VIN tag up there. Our WM23N2A222063. WM23H9A14. So this VIN is actually what qualifies the car as its qualifying, VIN itself. This door has obviously been donated from a different car because it has a different VIN. So it's cool to decode these real quick. So let's do it. What's interesting too, I just remembered, 1970 is the first year that they actually added the sticker here on the door. So this is actually out of a 1970, and that's also verified by the VIN, which is the 5th digit or the 6th one. That 0 means 1970. So WM meaning Dodge Coronet medium, 23 meaning it's a hard top, which it is, because you don't have a structural B pillar going down this way. So when you roll both windows down, you get this cool vast openness right here. So it's a hard top. And then your N means it's a 383 4-barrel engine code, and then the 0 meaning 1970. So this is out of a 70, this door, which is kind of cool that it's on here in the sense of how this car has been kind of patched together. You could see some kind of body filler or something or other. So I'm going to presume that this is probably rotted to hell. This rear window corner on all of your 68 through 70 B bodies, and even years after and before, typically rot out because the water just sits in this channel. And so more than likely this deck filler panel might have to get replaced. At least these corners are going to have to get replaced. Kind of hard to tell right now before we get down into it, but quarter panel itself doesn't look terrible up top, but of course once you get down below, someone has Frankensteined in some patching. So at least underneath this body line here, it's gonna have to get replaced. We'll see what the metal looks like underneath all this primer and paint. The trunk floor, you get a screwdriver so we can pop open the trunk. I think the trunk floor was kind of patched in itself too, but we can look from under here. And again, you can see someone just, no offense to anyone who starts out as a novice and is new to working on cars and welding, but those welds are just not up to standard. So they've got to go. But the metal itself of the floor doesn't look too bad. Someone replaced this frame rail. Again, all of this car is just Frankenstein welded. So there's gonna be a lot of metal repairs going on. The original body of this car to what it is, you can see package tray area here has got the blue as well. So She appears to have been a blue car to start out with. She lacks the fender tag to tell us all that. Floors, also some more frankenstien-y. But there's your 4-speed hump, your 4-speed pedal. Original wheel, which is cool. And the actual dash, which is somewhat complete as well. Pretty cool. So we've got some seat cores in here. Those original headliners still showing up there. Looks like an original door panel or original interior panel still back here. It's a front bucket car. So we got the buckets, which is cool. Well, here's our hinges. So we've got some hinges. Well, there's the steering wheel center. Sweet. There's the hood latch release. Some wiring. So yeah, it's really just going to be a matter of undoing all the frankensteining in this car, which, as we look at it, sadly is a lot of it. So it's going to be some work. But how could I say no? It's a 69 Super B. I've always loved these cars. Absolutely love it. If I'm not crazy enough, this would be a freaking awesome A12 clone. We can put that fiberglass hood up there with the liftoff 6-pack. There's nothing cooler than the 1969.5 A12 packages on the Super Bs and the Roadrunners. Those black steel wheels, they came with 15-inch black steel wheels with just some chrome lug nuts. Very simple, bare bones, affordable street car. Man, this was just so cool. So yeah, maybe we'll make it an A12 clone. This door, need a little bit of patchwork there. Looks like some lead somebody did right there. The rest of the metal on the skin, not terrible, so we'll fix those bottom corners. This quarter, looks like it's metal right there. So surprisingly, the quarters aren't the worst thing on this car. Not filled with filler too much here, at least from the outside that I could see. So maybe this corner's not bad on that window. This door here, I think it was only the driver's side that came with the sticker on it anyway. So looks like it's got some green in here. The green might go with the green from the hood. Maybe it came off of that car. Because that one from the 70 came from a burgundy, brownish, reddish kind of color. You can see the original drum brakes up front and the factory sway bar. And that front sway bar. Looking pretty cool. I just slapped the grill in it just to kind of dress it up to dream on what she's gonna look like. We'll stick the bumper there too. What do you think, Odie? Pretty cool, huh, bud? So because I'm a nerd and I like to know the history of my cars, I've got my color chart wall over here. So let's go see what color.
That's a Mopar thing, babe.
What's a Mopar thing? Being a dork? Hell yeah. Let's go see what color the B originally was. I think I've already got an idea. I was already suspecting it was B5 blue, and there is that beautiful B5 blue. And what do you know? I would say with pretty near certainty, hiding under here, that looks pretty B5 blue. It almost looks a little seafoamy because of the rust around it. But if we find another area, sure hell looks like a B5. What do you think, Odie? Do you like the Super B? Elliot? What do you think, bud? She got good boys. All right, so let's do a little more unearthing because I'm a total nerd. Some of it looks more B5, but again, I think a lot of the rust coming down towards the B5 blue is merging and creating what appears to be a faux seafoam. I'm gonna go with that as B5 blue. Again, if you know where to look on these cars, you can figure out a lot of their history. The firewall likely would never be replaced on one of these cars. They just generally don't seem to rust out quite in the same places and ways that the rest of the cars do. So that firewall there is 99%, I would bet, the original firewall. And as it definitely looks, you've got, like I showed before, this original color hiding right here. And that sure as heck to me looks like B5 blue. So that is so cool. Where it gets your front grille support was sprayed with an orange or red at one point, but you can see the original B5 hiding underneath there too. So that's pretty cool. So this piece is original to the car. So far, what we know that is original to the car is the firewall, some of the interior parts, the cowl. Maybe, I know that fender is because that one we saw the B5 on it. This one here, don't know if I've seen any B5 hiding. As a matter of fact, we don't see more of a bronze fire showing right there. So this fender, not original to the car. We know that door's not original. The other side, I don't think it was. The quarters might be. As a matter of fact, looks like it is, because what do you see hiding right there? Some B5 underneath that primer. And we could double check that by getting into the trunk and seeing if you saw any lines where they had welded here and patched it in. Typically people kind of cut them right around here, patch them in. You could also see the factory sound deadening material sprayed out in there if it was original, still there. You see some more B5 hiding here in this wheel well. Odie boy coming in hot. Hey, oh, man, here's Elliot too. Best Mopar puppies ever. You guys like it? So yeah, this car has got a lot of replacement metal. As an overall scope, I'm calling passenger front fender and the rear quarters and the grille support original to it. Everything else, that fender, both doors, maybe the trunk lid, not original. Definitely the hood is not. So now with a quick look at this engine, I'm gonna get this water out of this cylinder because we don't want that making any further problems in it, even though it's probably already pretty screwed up. I can feel a slight ridge, just enough to catch a nail here in this one, which isn't terrible. So this block might not be total junk so long as the rust and water in the years haven't cracked out the actual walls of each one of the cylinders. So it's not the worst thing. Let's see if we can see a coat on here. Freaking weirdos. Well, we're trying to make a video for the people. So obviously another quick way to tell if you're new to Mopars, big blocks, you've got the RB and the B blocks. So your RB blocks were 413, 426 wedge, 426 Hemi, and the 440. So they all had this large stamped raised pad here adjacent to the distributor, which would go right in here like this. Now on your 383s and your 400s, your B blocks, they actually have no raised pad here. Instead, I think it's on the passenger side of the side of the block, kind of underneath where the head goes. You've got stamping or casting there. So that's a quick way to tell that, you know, you've got a big block, whether it's typically a 383 or a 440 that you would see in most of these cars. Of course, you had different engine options like a 426 Hemi, which would of course be a gold mine and pretty rare to find these days. Their 413s and your 426 wedges, those were usually in your earlier like 63, 64 Dodges, Polaris, Plymouth Savoys, stuff like that, cross Rams, industrial trucks, not common options or something you would have seen at all in a 1969 Dodge Super Bee. But anyway, I'm getting carried away with random Mopar engine knowledge. So this block hopefully will turn out to be something really good for us. And yeah, we'll get that water out of there. Some nice 40-year-old oil sludge goop. Hell yeah. That's a little better. Now I can sleep good at night. Can you say, yeah, baby? 69B. Welcome to the crew. When looking through the car, I actually found a brand new headliner hiding out in here. So that's cool. One item down off the list already. Like I was showing before, she's a front bucket kind of car. Not sure what's in here. Must have been the guy that used to own it because it came from Montana. So that's cool. What you got? What you got for us in here? Okay, so this is the rear seat divider into the trunk. with the packing, with the jute. So that's cool. Sweet. Thanks, former owner guy. It looks like the last guy's name was George. Cool. Well, glad to have it off of your hands, George. So thank you guys for watching. As always, stay tuned for more action with this car as well as the other cars that we're working on. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you on the next video.